Hi, welcome to the Bookish Quilter, where we talk about quilts and we talk about books. Today we're just going to talk about quilts. I'm going to give you the block of the month for June. I realize it's a little belated. I changed jobs recently, had a new work schedule I have to get used to. So hopefully within the next couple weeks I'll get back on track with my videos. The block this month is this particular block. I don't know what the name is. I could look it up, but it's a block I was given by a friend who was destashing, and in a box of her scraps were some blocks from block swap she had participated in. I chose this block because I wanted to show you the technique of making 8 half square triangles at a time. It's something I think all quilters should know how to do. It saves you a lot of time. So, as you can see, this block has 8 half square triangles and 1 solid center square. It's a 12-inch finished size block, so each half square triangle measures 4 inches finished. When you make half square triangles by the method most people use, which makes 2 at a time, you add 1 inch to your finished size. So you would cut a 5-inch square of your light and dark fabric, place them right sides together, draw a line diagonally from corner to corner, and sew a 1/4 inch from each side of the line, and then cut on that line and press open. And that will give you a slightly oversized block that you would then trim to 4.5 inches to finish at 4. When you're doing 8 at a time, the formula is very easy. You're going to take your finished size, again 4 inches, add 1 inch, 5, and now double it. So you need 2 10-inch squares, a light square and a dark square. And I put them right sides together. Now I'm going to show you how to construct your 8 half square triangles. Here I have my 2 10-inch squares, again, right sides together. I take my ruler and a pencil and I draw a diagonal line from corner to corner. I then draw a second line connecting the other 2 corners. I then draw 2 more lines connecting the block into dividing the blocks into perpendicular 5-inch squares. So I'm going to line this up with the 5 inches right here, draw a line, and do it this way. Line this up with the 5 inches on my ruler and draw a line. Now what I'm doing is I'm going to sew 1/4 inch from each side of each diagonal line. I do not stitch on the sides of the perpendicular lines. It's just down here and back on the other side, down here and back on the other side. The drawn lines will become your cutting line. So now I'm going to do my sewing. Now that I have my stitching done, I'm going to cut on all of my drawn lines. Now I have all of my half square triangle units done. Before I do any pressing, I'm going to trim them down. These are slightly oversized, and I'm using the method that I taught in my Shamrock block a while ago. I will link to that, but I'll basically go over it again. You're trimming these to 4.5 inches because you need them to be 4-inch finished size. That's without the seam allowances. So how I do that is I take a piece of paper, just ordinary scrap paper will work, cut a 4.5 inch square and cut that in half diagonally. So I have two 4.5 inch triangles. I take one of those triangles and tape it to the corner of my ruler. I want the corner of the paper to perfectly align with the corner of the ruler. This point should be at 4.5 inches. This point should be at 4.5 inches. I tape it down using clear tape. To trim my squares, I line the edge of the paper over here up with my stitching line and trim any excess fabric that extends beyond the ruler. I now press it to set the seam and then press the seam towards the dark side like this and trim off any dog ears. And when you do that, you're going to have a perfect 4.5 inch square. Now that I have all my half square triangles trimmed and I have my center block cut, I've sewed my pieces together in 2 rows, and now I'm going to arrange my rows. This is the top, middle, and lower row. Now I've sewn my seam allowances on the first and third rows towards the outer edges of the row. In other words, the seams are going this way and this way. In the center row, the seams are pushed in towards the center block. That way, when you sew your rows together, they will all nest together. Now, I like to show what it's going to look like if you were to make all the same blocks and put them together. So I'm going to show you a picture of that. And just one more picture of the original finished block. This is not the one I made. This was my original. And I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you had fun making it and that you want to do more 8 at a time half square triangle projects. As I said, I do have patterns for two other projects. One is a quilt, one is a table runner, and I will link to those in the description box below. Have a great day. I hope you've enjoyed this. Please like, subscribe, comment, and stay tuned for a new video coming very soon. Have a great day. Bye-bye.